All right, guys, so I stumbled across a pretty interesting video asking people on the street the question of whether or not only white people can be racist. Now, you guys should know my answer to this question, okay? Because I point out racism on both sides of the aisle. Now, some people claim that I don't. I never point out racism against black people, in which I will point you in the direction of the judge, Miss Michelle Odenette, that used the N-word. There was also another dude, Alabama, Tommy Bryant. He also used the N-word. I said both of those people should step down, right? So I point out examples of racism on both sides. However, I'm not like these race crusaders in the sense that, you know, I think that everything is racist, right? But I do believe that, you know, racism can go both ways, and that racism is not just a power structure in which only the powerful, aka white people, can be racist. I think that racism involves individual actions and prejudices towards other people, okay? So I think racism happens at an individual level, okay, in my opinion. So with that being said, I want to react to this guy on the street asking these people, can only white people be racist? Because they get some pretty interesting answers.
Can only white people be racist?
Systematically, yes.
No?
No.
What do you think? Okay, so no, we got a yes. Interesting. So we disagree here.
You guys can kind of be racist.
Bruh, imagine asking somebody this question and then they say, you guys, you as a white man. And I'm looking at this dude, I'm like, I don't know if this dude is obviously white. He could be Arab, he could be Hispanic, right? He could be any race or ethnicity. Honestly, just looking at him, I have no clue. I just find it interesting how she just assumed you're white, right? So therefore, you guys can be racist for X, Y, and Z reason. You know, I don't know who he is. His name is James Klug. I forgot to mention that, by the way, at the beginning of this video. If you want to check him out. You know, I want to give him credit for this video. I'll put the original link to the video in the description, in the comment section, so that you guys can see, you know, the original video, right? I want to make sure this dude gets credit.
And like, the only reason why I would say only is because systemically, there's more power there.
According to you, right? I will argue that the power is not racial. It is actually socioeconomic, right? And I think a lot of people confuse that. Because again, I would argue that somebody that is a wealthy, rich black man, in certain instances has just as much power as a wealthy, rich white man. I mean, look at somebody like Jay-Z, who has a ton of influence, okay? Dude is actually fighting the legal system in New York, I believe, to not allow rappers' lyrics to be used against them in court, right? Again, something that I don't necessarily agree with, but I'm just saying, this dude is using his power and influence to affect the criminal justice system. So don't sit and try to act like, well, only one group of people in this country have power. No. Power lies in those with the wealth, right? In my opinion. And some people may say that's a Marxist perspective, but I think that's true, right? To a certain extent. Like, the people who have the power in this society are the wealthy, right? I don't think that is a color thing either, right? Just because most people happen to be white that are wealthy or whatever, doesn't necessarily mean that power is divided simply based off of race, okay? That's not what it means.
That's a very scandalous one. I don't know. I don't think so.
Can only white people be racist?
Negative. Everyone can be racist.
No. No.
Could you define racism for me, or at least, you know, do your best?
A system that favors one group over the other one.
Racism is not a system, right? That's the problem. Racism is an individual action, right? When it comes to being prejudiced or biased against somebody, or a feeling of superiority over somebody purely based off their race, okay? That, in my opinion, is how you define racism, okay? And prejudice is a feeling of bias or preconceived notions about somebody that's not based on reality, reason, or actual experience, okay?
And uses state policy to enact it.
It's a systematic oppression of somebody who's lower than another person.
Again, notice how the people that say, yes, only white people can be racist, they always define racism as a system, right? And that's how they get away with making those statements to say only white people are racist, because they inherently think that white people are superior to them, right? Which in my opinion, I find to be fascinating. Why would you think that any individual is superior to you? Why would you believe that? Why would you believe that?
And so because other races are historically less than white people, they cannot be racist against the higher up, which is the white person.
Not
Other races are historically less than white people. Again, this is the type of victimhood mentality that is being pushed on the average person or so-called person of color from woke academia, right? She literally believes that she is less than whites. That's what she believes. She just told you. Why would you believe that? Why would you believe that?
not individual racism, but systematic racism.
No, the definition of racism is the belief that a particular race is superior or inferior to another. Also, prejudice based on race. Where did you get that definition from?
Woke academia.
All the culmination of my learning experience.
Is every race capable of that or no?
Every race is capable of being prejudiced, yes. But I don't think every race is capable of being racist.
Black people could be racist because we kind of like to hold on to our culture. We don't like other cultures appropriating us, as opposing to like other cultures. I feel it'll be that they kind of wanted to emulate our culture. So sometimes we like to be selfish with our own. So to me, that's kind of like racist. Why not share your culture with another?
It's power.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, right? Black people should be open to sharing their culture with other people for various reasons, right? And I'm gonna give you an example, okay? The Asian man, the Chinese man, he opens up his Asian restaurant, right, in a black community or a community that's predominantly white or whatever, right? He doesn't say that only Asians can eat here, right? Because if he did that, he wouldn't make any money, right? He would limit his market. Black people do this thing where they'll start a business, they'll call it a black business, and then they'll only market to black people, right? They'll say that only black people can wear this hairstyle, only black people can do this, only black people can do that. When what you're actually doing is subconsciously, you're limiting your ability to make money, right, off your culture, which other races have figured out. Hispanics have figured out, Asians have figured out, Arabs have figured out, Africans have figured out, every other race has figured out how to make money off their race except black people. Black people, they don't want to make money off their race. They want to guard the cultural aspects that are really very influential in society. They want to guard and say, no, only we can do that. Only we can wear this certain hairstyle, right? Only we can do this. Only we can do that. Which, in my opinion, it makes it hard for you to monetize your culture, right? So the point that she's making there, I think is very relevant as to why, it is harder for so-called black-owned businesses because a lot of them just tend to limit their own market by the way they market themselves.
About certain things that are in place. Like, for instance, if your camera guy got arrested and you got arrested for the same thing, no offense, but more than likely, I would expect, which is really up, but I would expect him to be put away for something a little bit longer. Like, let's say...
If he was wealthier than me, would that be the same case?
No, I don't think so.
Is it a socioeconomic thing or is it a skin color thing?
A little bit of both.
Some people are saying only white people can be racist. What are your thoughts about those people?
I don't know who's saying that, but that seems silly.
Why do you think they're saying that? What do you think about that?
Because they're ignorant. And when I say that, I don't mean in a disrespectful way. I mean that they're just not knowing.
So only white people can be systematically racist?
They're the only one in the position to be systematically racist.
Lie, right? That's a lie as well too. And I'm gonna tell you why, because we, according to their definition, we have systematic racism going on against white people right now, right? I mean, you can make that argument, put it that way. If you go with the woke definition, that is, that's what I'm saying. Look at Lori Lightfoot. Lori Lightfoot is in a position of power. She is a mayor. And she decided that, hey, you know what? I don't want to have interviews with white journalists, right? I'm going to have a day where I don't interview with white journalists. That is, by definition, systemic racism, right? According to the left. Because they say that racism is a power structure. Racism can only be enacted by those who are in positions of power. Lori Lightfoot is a black woman that is in a position of power, using her power to racially discriminate against other people. How is that not racism, right? And I'm just using the woke definition, right? How is that not racism? So again, don't give me this bull talking about, well, only a certain group of people in power. What they're basically saying is that even you know, the average white dude on the street has more power than, you know, a millionaire or billionaire black person simply because of their skin color. And that is just objectively not true. That is just objectively false and a silly idea in my opinion.
And why is that?
Because they're pretty much in control of all the institutes, all the agencies.
I think there's also like power politics involved with that, and like also I think understanding your privilege, that in certain environments you have more privilege like over other races and stuff.
If you're the majority or something?
Yeah. So like in different environments, certain people are the majority. I think depending on like where you are and stuff. So yeah, that's what I think.
LA, who has privilege here?
I think I'd definitely say white people have like maybe more like of the privilege out here in LA. Yeah.
Tell me, how in the world is one of the wokest places in the country, you still got people out here talking about how white people got privilege, right? Again, I don't understand, because if the progressive utopia is what they claim it is, then why are people still complaining in the progressive utopia? It's almost like, you know, a lot of these people make a living just complaining to complain, regardless of where they live at. Because LA is woke, right? They so woke that they're letting the criminals run the asylum. So I find it fascinating that people that live there are still complaining about what they signed up for.
Hispanics outnumber white Americans in Los Angeles 2-1 almost. You know, there's the DA is Hispanic, the sheriff is Hispanic, majority of the LAPD is minority.
Well,
Can only Hispanics be racist in LA?
no, not at all.
But only whites can be racist in LA?
That's a good question.
Like double the amount of Hispanics compared to white people in LA. Does that make a...
No, I think if you look at it, so they may be more Hispanics here like in LA, but then they're not really, I guess, like in position of power and privilege, or like really, if you go into...
District attorney? Yeah.
Yeah, we don't live
Gus
in LA,
Gascon?
but, like, yeah, we don't live in LA, but yeah.
In LA, can only...
And here's the thing. It's funny because a lot of these places that you see the so-called police brutality, how many times have you seen the police chief be a black person? A black man in particular? A lot. A whole lot, right? But yet these people are still claiming that, oh, no. It's the white man in power that's making this happen. When the police chief, the person that's in power, is actually black, right? Again, it's hilarious.
Hispanics be racist if they're the majority.
That's hilarious because of like the numbers game. You're completely right, but I don't think so. We don't know.
Yeah, because you by definition just believe that white people are superior. Okay, at first they'll say, well, the reason why I believe white people are superior is because of population numbers. Well, white people are the majority, so that's why, you know, it's justified to discriminate against them, right? To be racist against them. But when presented with an example of a minority being in power, right, or having a majority, all of a sudden it's like, well, I just believe that white people are just superior by definition, just because they're white, right? That's what these people believe, or at least that's what it sounds like. Okay.
Know how everyone got here. Hey, it is what it is. You know, it's none of my business. Let's say half of them got here legally, and let's just say half of them didn't get here so legally.
Okay.
For them to band together 100%, I don't think so. Because
is that what white people are doing? Are white people coming together, banding together to say, hey, I want to discriminate against, you know, blacks, Latinos, Asians? I don't think that's the case, right? I don't think that's what's happening, right?
because of just fear, again, for the things that are in place.
50%?
Yeah, let's just say 50-50. Let's say 50% came here legally, 50% did not. I don't see 100% them coming together.
Yeah, it's like a funny, it's not a black and white. There's a lot of gray area to it. I do think that like other races, like let's say black people can be racist towards Hispanics and stuff. So I think that it's based on that specific experience in that moment.
Can only white people be racist?
No.
Everybody could be racist.
Everybody can be
in
racist.
one way or another, yeah.
That's a loaded question, and it's based on psychology, history, geography. There are black people, for example, who are American black people who come from a legacy of wealth, who can be racist against a poor black person, or
yeah,
there could just be multiple
definitely
reasons why a person feels the way that they do. So I don't think that just white people.
Because of
can be
stereotypes.
racist.
What are your thoughts on the people that are saying only white people can be racist? What are your thoughts on that?
They're just wrong. That's ignorance right there.
I don't know, bro. They must be stupid.
There's a big movement pushing that narrative. What are your thoughts on the people that are saying that?
Great question again. I'm from New York. I'm 55 years old, and I come from a time when that was never really used, right? My mother's from the South, Jim Crow South. We never talked about white supremacy. We hear white male privilege and all these things, and kids are throwing them around. And I think what it's doing is creating a division amongst people and giving people power through their emotions and not necessarily on critical thinking or anything like that. It's just...
Ain't it amazing how this dude says he had a mother that grew up in the Jim Crow South and never heard of white supremacy, right? Or white male privilege. Ain't that amazing? It's almost like a lot of this stuff is just a construct of modern day woke academia. I'm just saying.
Kind of like a throwaway thing.
You think it's a damaging narrative?
Oh, without a doubt. We're all divided, whether it's LGBT, whether it's racism, white, black, whatever the case is. There's all these divisions, and we're all like fighting against each other on things that we really don't understand and the psychology and history behind them.
All right, everyone, that is it for today. There's no doubt that folks on the left are changing this definition to fit their political agenda, but what do you guys think that political agenda is? Let me know in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, make sure to subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you get notified when I post more videos. We'll see you guys next.
All right, so yeah, James Klug, check him out. I want to make sure I give him credit for all his hard work that he put into this video. I found that conversation to be fascinating. But, you know, I'm kind of surprised, but not surprised at the same time to hear a ton of people say that white people aren't the only group of people that can be racist, because everybody knows, whether you white, black, Asian, Hispanic, whatever, that, you know, racism comes in all shapes, forms, and sizes, right? It's not just limited to just one certain group of people like, you know, the woke revolutionaries try to tell us. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.